Now tonight, a Hannity investigation into the border crisis disaster, of course, all created by Joe Biden. We now have tonight exclusive reporting for our own investigative reporter, Sarah Carter, surrounding hundreds of suspected cartel-linked illegal marijuana growing operations in Southern California's Antelope Valley, raising serious security, crime, environmental concerns from local law enforcement. And now Sarah Carter traveled to the Golden State to investigate all of this firsthand with California Congressman Mike Garcia. Here's what she found. Take a look.
Directly off our nose is a large warehouse, kind of the 1130. Yeah, the inside of that is nearly 40,000 square feet. We're in 20,000 plus plants inside that alone as plants. And this one has already had a harvest out of it, and they've put plants in. You can actually see the plants in the ground underneath where the tents are up. You can see one, two, three, just a handful of plants. So that one's just been harvested.
If you look out there at 2 o'clock, you see all those little light gray. Every one of those little light gray white specks is an illegal grow, right? Assuming there's weed in there, but they're not growing petunias or tomatoes probably. I mean, that's literally hundreds right there just in that one segment.
And no one can do anything about this, apparently, because they're doing whatever they want.
The bottom line is that our local law enforcement across the board are just understaffed. They're under-resourced right now. This all costs money. Anytime someone's coming after these illegal marijuana grows, they're not going after fentanyl. They're not going after violent crimes in our neighborhoods, and it's a tax on public safety, both directly and indirectly.
You know, the new directives coming out of the White House to release people, to not make arrests on criminals. I mean, that's got to affect what's happening here, too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, when you don't enforce the laws, regardless of what they are, you're encouraging people to break the laws, right? And what we're seeing on our southern border is a humanitarian crisis now. We're seeing people suffer. We're seeing people come across the border illegal. We're seeing local residents suffer as a result of that along the border. But now this is the border crisis basically in our backyard, some 300-400 miles away from it. And it's affecting everyday Americans' lives right now. It's not good for Americans. It's not good for those who are here illegally.
Here to explain the details, investigative reporter Sarah Carter. Okay, one of the things, there always was a situation where the cartels, yeah, they would cross into the U.S., but it was fairly understood that they had other people doing it on this side of the border that they had partnered with. This is now a new level. Explain.
Oh, it is absolutely a new level of operations because it's so brazen, Sean. I can't begin to tell you how stunning it was when I was up in the helicopter with Congressman Garcia and the detective looking at, I mean, just miles and miles and miles of vast, sophisticated, illegal grows worth tens of millions of dollars. For the one that you saw in the video, the big warehouse, there were 20,000 plants in there. That one warehouse alone was $30 million. And as I've said, they've become extremely more brazen. They're not afraid of hiding it. They don't hide it because they don't feel that they'll ever be held accountable for it. And they continue to sell their product, not only across the United States, but according to law enforcement, they're moving millions of dollars, if not billions, overseas, and we don't even know where that's going. Let me give you an example. Residents in that area had said to me that they were threatened openly by some of the people that were working on the grows. And while I was there with Congressman Mike Garcia, people actually came out of the grows and started filming us, trying to intimidate us. In one instance, a car literally peeled back as fast as they could when they saw our cameras and escaped and went back into the grows. Let these residents tell you what they're living through, Sean. It's unbelievable. There are people out here that are connected to the drug cartels in Mexico. I mean, that's got to be pretty intimidating.
Well, that's what makes me uncomfortable about it, is because I know that they don't have any regard for human life, and if anybody gets in their way, they wouldn't think twice, about knocking you off. I just don't think that they would even think twice about it.
And Sean, that's the reason why the residents didn't want to show their faces. They're really terrified. I asked the LA County Sheriff, Sheriff Alex Villanueva, how did it come to this? And what can the sheriff do to put a stop to it? And this is what he had to say.
The origins of the LA County Sheriff's Department date back to 1850. This was literally the Wild West. Fast forward 171 years, it's becoming the Wild West again. The difference that tamed the Wild West was the sheriff, the Sheriff's Department, law and order, structure, a civil society. And now we have that element up there, and again, it's going to be we're going to wind back the clock in history here. The Sheriff's Department, we're going to reassert authority in order, and we're going to take care of business.
Sean, Congressman Garcia says he's going to take this fight to Washington. He's fighting for his constituents. He doesn't want to see the lawlessness anymore in California, and there's going to be a lot more developments coming up in the next month.
All right, investigative reporter Sarah Carter, thanks for sharing that story. Scary, right in the U.S.